So the idea is to chat about the important concepts. All of them are related with concepts related with leadership, either in, not only in Monterrey Tech, there are some others from other universities.
That's okay.
That have been working with the concept.
Yeah.
Some others are related with psychology school, and some others are recipients of scholarships from either from CELIDER or from the Red Filantropía, the one that we just approached yesterday. So it's I would like to say, from the cream of the students in Monterrey. So welcome to this meeting. It's your meeting, so please take advantage of Tal Ben-Shahar as our special guest for this meeting.
So first of all, it's an honor for me to be here with the cream of the cream. It makes me a bit nervous, but I'll do my best. You know, I want to begin by sharing with you a story, an experience that I had as a teacher at Harvard. When I taught my class in the second semester, so it started in February and ended in May. And around March, I would ask my students the following question. I would say to them, put your hand up now if on April 2nd, why April 2nd? Because April 2nd was the day when they received the letter in the mail saying to them, congratulations, you have been accepted into Harvard. Put your hand up if on April 2nd you were anywhere between very happy and ecstatic. So I had close to 1,000 students in the class. Almost everyone puts their hand up. And then I asked them a second question. I said to them, now leave your hand up if on April 2nd you thought that you would be happy for the rest of your life. Almost everyone keeps their hand up. Why? Because that is what they have been told. They were told since they were very young, well, maybe now you're not happy, maybe now you're anxious, maybe now you hate what you're doing, but don't worry. If you keep on pressing forward, if you get into your top choice university, whether it's Harvard or Stanford or Berkeley, wherever it is, if you get into your top choice university, then you'll be happy for the rest of your life. Why? Because then you'll be all set. You'll probably get a good job after. You'll probably make decent amount of money after. People will look up to you. You'll be happy for the rest of your life. And in fact, when they got it, when they got in, they think, okay, this is happiness for forever. Because all the teachers are telling other students, you see, if you work hard, you'll be like her, you'll be like him. So they're on top of the world. And they think they will remain happy forever. So most students leave their hand up. And then I say to them, now leave your hand up if today you're happy. I didn't say very happy, I didn't say ecstatic, I said happy. Almost 1,000 hands go down. Why? Because today most people, whether it's Harvard students, whether it's entrepreneurs, most people today look for happiness in the wrong place. They truly believe that the relationship between happiness and success works this way. If you succeed more, happiness will go up. If you get a raise, you'll become happier. If you become famous, you'll be happy. You ask children today, what do you want to be when you grow up? Famous. What does that mean? They really believe that this will make them happier. But in fact, it doesn't. More and more research is showing that the relationship between happiness and success doesn't work that way. It's not that a raise will lead to happiness. It's not that getting promoted will lead to happiness. It's not that fame or prestige will lead to well-being. It's actually the other way around. There is a lot of research showing that if we increase our levels of well-being, even by a little bit, it will significantly increase our success levels. We'll become more creative, thinking better outside the box. We'll become more productive, more motivated, better workers. Our teamwork will improve significantly, not just professionally, also personally. Our relationships will improve. It's not about being happy all the time. It's about increasing our levels of happiness even by a little bit. That will have a meaningful contribution to our overall success. This, by the way, was the most important message that I learned. Being a student, doing well academically, doing well in sports, and being unhappy. The lesson that I learned was that I was looking for the Holy Grail, for happiness, in the wrong places. So it's very important for you, up-and-coming leaders in the community, people who will influence other people, to recognize this relationship. And rather than look for happiness in the wrong places, and thereby also mislead many other people, as so many people do, whether it's our children, whether it's people who look up to us in the community. It's important for us to understand the true nature of the relationship between success and happiness. So I'm happy to take your questions now or comments, and hopefully I'll be able to respond adequately. So there's a lot of research done on national levels of happiness, and Mexico is above average on levels of happiness, though it could get higher. Now, how do you increase levels of happiness when you're thinking about a nation? So not just on the micro individual level, but on the macro level. To my mind, the most important way to do it is through education. Why? Because in education, we have a privilege of working with students, with teachers, with the community on an ongoing, regular basis. It's very difficult to increase happiness with one lecture or by reading a book. It's certainly possible to increase happiness if you're working with students over a longer period of time. This is, by the way, this is the reason why I'm so excited about the project taking place at Tec de Monterrey, Tec Milenio, introducing the science of happiness for all the students, for faculty, for the larger community. So this is the most important way of increasing levels of well-being. But it's not only through education. There are also things that the government can do. For example, safety is an important part, an important component of happiness. Now, there are, of course, there's a whole range of how safe people feel. So today, people feel in Syria, they don't know whether they will live another day. Then there is crime, and over the last few years, there is more crime in Mexico, and that certainly affects people. So this is the role of the government, to bring more safety to the people. Having said that, ultimately, the responsibility for happiness is not the government's, it's not your university. The ultimate responsibility resides with yourself. And that is where you can do relatively simple things, not easy to implement, but relatively simple to understand. Introduce certain practices into your life that will increase levels of happiness. Things like regular physical exercise. Things like expressing gratitude, not taking for granted what you have. Things like spending time with people you care about and who care about you. One of the strengths of Mexico is its relationships, people's relationships with one another, the emphasis that people give to family, the emphasis that people give to friendships. And it's important not to lose that. And unfortunately, many of the young generation switch their priorities and say, well, I'm going to give up quality time with my friends or family time so that I can make it to the next stage. Now, I'm not against getting to the next stage. I'm not against ambition. I myself am a hard worker and invest a lot in what I do. However, I always remind myself what my top priorities are. And that is my family, my friends, my community. These are also the top generators of what I've come to call the ultimate currency, the currency of happiness.
You say that it's based on people's strengths and people positive things. But how do you help someone who can share this outlook, like someone who is emotionally perspective stunned in that way?
It's difficult to change ourselves. It's even more difficult to change or to help others. The best way, the most effective way to help others is by introducing change in our lives. And I want to do a quick experiment with you, with your permission. I'm a psychologist after all. So here goes. Are you ready? So we have an N of 30. Okay. So here is the experiment. Take your hand and create, as much as possible, a 90-degree angle between your thumb and your middle finger. A 90-degree angle. This is not so easy, especially for the men in the room who are less flexible. A 90-degree angle between the middle finger and your thumb, and then bring these two fingers together and create a circle. As much as possible, a circle. Once again, more difficult for the men. All right, it's not bad, not bad. All right, now take this circle, okay? Take this circle and, try and leave this angle here. Take this circle and put it on your cheek. On your cheek. Now, I think I said it quite clearly, right? And yet, most people, almost everyone, most people put it on their chin. Why? Because people do what you do more than what you say. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, the North American philosopher, what you do speaks so loudly that I cannot hear what you're saying. Action is louder than words. So if I want to influence someone, whether it's my child, whether it's as a therapist or a teacher, if I want to influence other people as a manager, the most important thing that I can do is bring about change in my life. Because people do what you do. Now, does that guarantee that I will help other people? Absolutely not. So that's one thing. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world. So that's one. The second, to my mind, most important way to effect change is through stories. What do people remember? People connect to stories. Some of you, many of you in this room are future leaders. You know that the most successful leaders across industry, the not-for-profit industry, in the for-profit companies, in education, in politics, the most successful leaders are effective storytellers. They tell stories, and they tell stories in a genuine way, stories that come from inside them. So the best way to affect other people is to share stories, whether it's your own stories or stories about people whom you admire. I spoke yesterday in my lecture about biographies and how important they are to bring about change, to increase resilience. Why? Because biographies are stories. That's what people connect to. That's what people remember. So tell your story. Be open. One of my methods of teaching is that I tell a lot of personal stories, and I don't just tell stories of how I overcame difficulties. I also tell stories of my failures. I tell stories of the difficulties that I encounter, of the conflicts that I have. And these stories, the students remember, they connect to, and they affect their lives. Because it's something that they relate to, and they say to themselves, oh, so it's natural, giving themselves the permission to be human, and through that bringing about change.